out to Hoops Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoops Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoops Jargon. Shout out to
Hoops Jargon.
What up, everybody, man? Shout out to Hoop Jargon, man. We got a good show for you today, man. I know the NBA community has been a buzz right now, and as you see, a lot of Summer League has been great content for a lot of content creators out here, ESPN included. And so I want to bring somebody whose opinion I always respect in this capacity when we talking about evaluating top-level NBA future talent and what have you. And that's none other than my man's Dain Ervin. You know what I'm saying, son?
What up? What up, baby? Out on the West Coast, man. This time change always shake me up for the first couple of days, but I'm gonna shake it out. We're gonna be all right.
Hey, welcome to my world, good sir.
man, you had a head start though, man. You had a couple months of head start.
That's fair. A year and a half head start.
yeah, exactly. But no, great to be here. I appreciate you having me. I love the dialogue we always have. We agree to disagree. We often see things in the same light, being former athletes ourselves. So definitely great to be here.
Already, man. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat who's already showed up, man. My boy DJ. All three done a couple immensely. Yes, that's true. Cheers from Florida. What's up? 3, 2, 1. You know the countdown. We know we ready. What's up, Tolliver, Hoop Jargon member in the building. Thibodeau. What's up, Dain and Hoop? Yep. Jig Life. That's the old school hashtag.
They don't know. They wasn't outside for that. Tolliver, they wasn't outside. They know.
That's insider right there for real.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's get it popping, man. We know all the names. I guess we can get started the right way. And let's just start from your opinion. Who has been most impressive so far with 2 days under our belts in the NBA Summer League?
Okay, so the first day, Scotty Barnes, for me, was very impressive how he came out. Scotty was known for his energy at the high school and the collegiate levels, his versatility at 6'9". He used that to his best of his abilities in opening night for himself. He had a double-double, so being that active the first night was I mean, when you get to the front line, a lot of the times you have older guys. So he played exceptionally well in his first game for Toronto. Jalen Green for the Houston Rockets. Of course, he had an explosive game in which they jumped out against Cleveland and had a very good game from the floor. He shot it well, looked well in transition. And I think, it's seeming to have a smooth transition for him. I mean, his year with the G League Ignite, it proved to be clearly a good decision for him in his transition so far in Summer League.
Yeah, and I think Jalen Green is a very interesting case because with this new era, I think, it's been done before. You had the discussion before about LaMelo Ball going to play somewhere else and then coming to the league. A lot of people feel like you got to go the traditional route. We know Jalen Green went to the G League, and a lot of people thought that was a misstep, and obviously it was not. What is the consensus of evaluators kind of thinking about his path, and are more guys considering to do that now?
No, I think for the most part, everyone knows, and I think this is what the general pop have to understand. That's going to be a route for kids. It's just not going to be for everybody. And I think that's so important to not, when you say that, Cliff, you and I have been to camps, we've been to tryouts, even the pro settings. Everyone, when they hear that, what do they say? Oh, no, I'm talking to you. I'm definitely talking to you. It is such a small group of individuals who, yes, every year this option will be afforded to them. And it's on them to seize that, but it's not for everyone. No, not 100 kids, not 50 kids. No, it may be less than 10 kids that's going to have this option to bypass college, work with professionals for 6 to 8 months, and then enter the draft. And then just because you enter the draft, that does not mean you will be drafted. For those that may not know, it's a total of 3, 4. It was a total of 5 kids technically that were in that G League situation. 3 were drafted, 2 first round, 1 second round, 1 went undrafted. Well, excuse me, 2 went undrafted. A lot of people don't realize the kid Kai Soto, who started with the G League Ignite and he eventually left, he wasn't drafted, as well as Deshaun Nix. But Deshaun Nix was picked up by Philadelphia. He's here in Summer League, and he looked solid yesterday. Isaiah Todd is playing with Washington Wizards. They had a game postponed due to some COVID protocol situation. And then, of course, Kuminga and Jalen Green went in the first round. Kuminga played last night as well. And just because my long history with him as well, from the grassroots space, I could tell he's still in a space where he's worried about position. Because they literally were playing him at the 5 yesterday. A lot of the 4 and 5. So it wasn't a whole lot of operating from the wing. It was operating from the short corner, and it was operating from the elbow and the mid post. And I think one thing that many kids have to understand, even never mind the G League, let's talk about, college. Stop getting caught up in positions. The position you want to be is on the court. Don't matter what label you have. If you get caught up in, man, I'm a point. Okay, well, in somebody's system and for your particular skill set, you being a point, you may only have 7 minutes on the court. But if you want to be a basketball player, they may be able to shake out 28 minutes. But the choice is yours. And when you talk about the pro level, though, that fight is not even going to be had. It's going to be clearly explained to you, this is what you need to do. You better do it. And if you don't, with the same straight face I'm having with you now, that's it. Your key card won't work. We see the memes and all that on social media when the guy was trying to go in the jet facility, even though he was still on the team. But that's a real reality. That's a real reality. I'll leave the gentleman nameless, but, you guys could probably figure out what I'm saying. But there was a gentleman drafted by Sacramento who they were extremely high on him last year. He was a second-round pick. I knew there was a sign and there was an issue where I look up yesterday. He's not even in the rotation.
That's rough.
This is somebody who logged some NBA minutes for them last year. But here you are, second year of the Summer League. Well, really, you're first because you didn't play last year. And I'm already seeing that something isn't right. Got a chance to see Matt Coleman, 4-year Texas alum, set the record for most consecutive starts at Texas. He's with Sacramento Summer League team. And then he explained to me, he said the gentleman was late for film and he was late for the bus.
Bro.
So this kid is so young, they're not going to argue with him. They're not going to beg him. They're not going to plead with him. They're just going to replace him. Because guess what? In next year's draft, as you and I both know, there will be another 19, 20-year-old guy that does the same thing that he does, and then just replace him. So, Vegas is funny because it's such a temptation. When they call
it's Vegas,
Sin City,
yeah,
it's Vegas, but it's in plain sight. It's Sin City. They're telling you what it is. So it's so much temptation here. Then you have a set of rules, and all these guys are staying in pretty much all the 5-star hotels that are here, from the Mandarin to the Aria to the Wynn, you name it. And you have a set of rules that you have to follow. Now it's on you because you're not in high school anymore. You're not playing grassroots basketball anymore. Are you going to follow those rules? So, Cliff, I know you love those slew-footed women that be in old Vegas, and you got a pocket full of money. So what you going to do, Cliff? Are you going to be down at the tables making it rain for a piece of change? Or are you going to be upstairs getting your rest and getting ready for your game? And again, they're not going to tell you, but they're going to watch you. So it's the game within the game. For a lot of these young guys, it's the game within the game. So
no, that's real. And I guess that reference is hit home with me because my senior year, we played in a tournament where we played at Ball State first, and then we played at University of Florida. This was Joakim Noah, Al Horford, Corey Brewer, Florida. And then we finished the tournament in Vegas. And so it was set up for Florida and Kansas to play the championship game. So we all knew that. But point I'm making is after the Florida game, we flew to Vegas for like 5 days. Man, There was a lot of lack of focus going on. And at the time, I was like 23. You know, I was old enough to be responsible.
Right.
But, you know, I'm going to keep it real, man. You know, this just showed again how disciplined our group still was, even though we was on some fuckery, to be frank. We, I leave coach name out of this, but our coach basically told us when you get into your hotel, call the phone number, call this number and give him a voicemail when you check. So I remember being at the Slewfoot spot, man, kept telling coach, yeah, man, we just made it in. Your boys was kicking it out there big, man. And but we still went home in enough time to rest, to wake up for pregame meal, and to still go play. I think we played Tennessee State the next day. So we still were disciplined enough, but we definitely ain't check in when we supposed to. Let me put it that way. So I can only imagine.
I can't do it. I mean, to all those, oh man, to all of those who, again, they were outside for the years that, summer basketball came to Vegas. And, it was that Wednesday to Sunday, and some people stayed to Monday, or some people got to town Tuesday. Like, I couldn't do it, bro. I could not hang out. Like that's a low-key fact for me that people don't realize. I've never been in a nightclub in Vegas. In all my years of evaluating, and I've never been in a club. No one can ever say, yo, and not saying I don't like, I don't have my fetishes, because everyone knows my love for, albino Polish little women. I mean, that's just my thing. Don't judge me. But I say that to say, like, I can't do it. I know me. First of all, I love sleep too much, and I love my job too much. So it's like, I cannot throw in extracurricular activity and expect to do my job at a high level. Like, I'm fortunate today, games don't start at 3:00. Okay, but it is going to go a little later. So no one is going to the tables or going out right now. I got other things to do. Shit, I got defensive driving I still got to do for good old Bel Air County in Houston, but I'll do that. But when it comes to when the sun starts going down, and it's something about those lights, I'll be the first to tell you, and I think you know as well, when he talks about those lights, and then you get those casino room floors and that oxygen they pump it in and them drinks is flowing, Vegas can take you under. So it's really impressive to see the young guys here at the NBA level trying to achieve their dreams and stay focused. Not to leave out a couple other young guys with local flair from us, but Kai Jones, who played with Charlotte, and of course we'll talk about another gentleman with Charlotte. Kai Jones looked really, really well. He looked well the first night compared to the second night. I think the first night he was, the nerves were there. He was locked in. He probably didn't leave his room, but he was focused on the game, and he played like that against Portland. Greg Brown in that first game, it's crazy because for what he did for Portland, had he did that while at the University of Texas, he would, without question, been a lottery pick. But while he was at Texas, he wanted to do it his way. And shout out, I keep telling people, shout out to Shaka Smart, because Shaka kept his word. Promises were made. Oh, you want to shoot threes? You don't want to play to your strengths? I'm going to let you do that. I'm going to let you do that. Some people may look at that in a different way, but I look at it for what it is. He recruited that man. He told him things he was going to allow him to do. He let him exchange. If that prospect lost out on what they could have been, that's not Shaka's fault. Because you told me what you wanted to do, Cliff. Cliff, if you 6'11" and you say, Coach, I want to shoot 10 threes a game, but I know your jump hook with your right and left hand, you're 65%. You know what, Cliff? I'm going to let you shoot those threes. But don't get mad now if you're not the lottery pick you should be, because you're wanting to play the way you want to play. And I think now for Greg, with Chauncey Billups and those guys, they've been very patient with him in the mini camp they had. They put him in spaces with Portland to be who he should be, not what he could be. And I think too many prospects get caught up in that. So overall, I mean, no one has looked a flop. No one has looked bad. No one has looked like not the part. And that's good. It's the first 2 days. Yeah. I think everyone is guaranteed 4 games. Day 3 will be today. And I will be able to still see some guys that I didn't see in the first couple of days. So it will be exciting.
Okay, and I can appreciate that, and I think a lot of guys got to understand, man. It's a lot of, you can call it politics, you can call it a game within a game, you can call it whatever you want to shake it out to. But a lot of stuff, when people don't get favorable results at the school they're at, it's usually a lot more to the story than what they say and what they think. Because like Dane was saying, like if you're gonna recruit top level talent, you're gonna have to bend a little bit. You're gonna have to acquiesce your coaching style, especially at a University of Texas. Now, when Shaka was was it VCU?
Yep.
Yeah. So at VCU, you got a little more control over your program, and because you're not getting the top level talent, you're getting guys with a lot of potential. But when you get more or less your 4 or 5 star guys, you're gonna have to bend a little bit, and that's what's unfortunately happened here. And I hate to hear it from a collegiate standpoint, but I mean, you still got time to get your shit right. So I hope he gets that done in Portland, because with Chauncey Bill's been a great basketball mind. I've heard him talking. Shout out to my boy C. Hendo, his stream, just about what he views about the game. Because when they're doing that announcer thing, you can't really always get a true insight of how they think basketball, because they serve another master. They got an agenda while they talking on TV. But when you're talking, with your boy extemporaneously, you're just talking from your own mind. So I do respect Chauncey Bill's basketball mind, if that makes sense. So
yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. So now, since we talked a little bit about a few Hornets players, we got a comment, man. Shout out to Slim College, man. So what are your thoughts on Book Night, man? And then we'll talk a little bit about Jello, since we're talking about the Hornets.
I think Book Night too. They're making a big deal. I'm still on the fence as far as his opponent last night. They played Sacramento, and he went up against Davion Mitchell from Baylor. And I think the first night. Say that again.
I said clamps.
Yeah, I hear all that. That is his strong suit. To get the Book Night, get the Davion, and we'll bring it back to Jello. I think in Book Night's case, again, he too, the first night, he was locked in. He kept it simple. He was super efficient. I think he finished with 19 points. He showed his ability in transition to catch and shoot. He showed his ability in transition to be explosive and to be dynamic. And that's the next night, it got a little chippy. Davion, you can tell he rose to the occasion. I think enough is not being talked about in the basketball space on every level. And when I say this, look at the NBA, look at college, look at high school, look at grassroots, and even with kids. The pandemic, as we all have been dealing with it in our own ways, some people got better and some people got worse. And again, at the highest of levels. Everyone that raves about Imani Bates, but for those keeping it honest like I do, the pandemic affected him in a great way, because his game of where it was before the pandemic, it pretty much still in that space. He's not doing anything different. So bring it to James Book Night. He made the most of the pandemic for himself. A lot of people didn't know who he was, and he rose to a top 10 pick. Same thing for Davion Mitchell. People knew he was a talent, but he took his game to another space in the pandemic. And those two forces met last night. And Davion, you could say he won that first battle. And I'm sure they're going to have battles in years to come in regards to competing. The question that I had, when you're a point guard in the NBA right now, you have to fight fire with fire. It's not like boxing where it's a contrast of styles. That if Cliff, you and I had a fight on the Vegas Strip, old school, in front of the Caesars Palace, that you're southpaw, I'm not, I'm unorthodox, you're not. Those different styles are going to make fights. And there you have it. That would make a masterpiece. Whereas in the NBA right now, if you can't score the basketball at a high clip at the point guard slot, it is going to be extremely hard to counter other talents. They drafted Davion, and I hope there's another play to this. I hope, to be truthful, we can find him another home, because I don't know how much he's going to be used behind Fox. You just max Fox out. Fox got a max deal. In those particular cases, you're talking 36 to potentially 40 minutes a game. how much space is going to be there for Davion to actually grow in that system, because Halliburton, as we know, at Iowa State, he too proved to be a secondary ball handler, and he handled it well last year. So that space is going to be really, really something to watch. I hope Davion can add more to his offensive arsenal, because he is so heavy defensively, and maybe it's the Jrue Holiday effect, but he's not as big as Jrue Holiday. And again, Jrue can score too, so that's why you can't put him in that pocket. I honestly give him more of a more refined Patrick Beverley. I think he's a better offensive version of Patrick Beverley, but if Ball keeping it tall, that ain't saying much either. You know what I'm saying? That's not saying a whole lot. So but not the best. I don't think they played today. They don't. Sacramento. No, they do. They play Washington tonight. They play Washington at 7. So I want to see what he looks like tonight. Davion, if as we all say, if he comes with that same energy, that'll be interesting to see. And if he can have that effect, because as we know, the NBA season is long. But getting definitely to the elephant out of the room, games are down. I think after the first game, and don't get me wrong, because I think the family name is polarizing, as we all know with the Balls. We know, Lonzo just got paid. He got his 85. LaMelo's coming off his Rookie of the Year season. And Jello looked like he was ready to join the family after one game. However, Summer League is just not about one game. He looks to be in better shape for where he was. But I think when you hit me when that game, he has to continue. He has to continue getting in better shape. He's not a forward. He's not a 3. He's not a 4. Of course, he's not a 5. He's not a 1. He has to be a 2, and he has to make shots. Now, the first night, he made shots. He made shots at an extremely efficient clip. The second night, not so much. And I think, to be honest, too, there was a change in venue. And I'm not making mistakes, because, as you know, I can be as critical as anyone when it comes, to your crew. The first night he played in Cox Pavilion. That cliff is more like TSU, PV, almost like a high school setting. There's no depth. People take this for granted, but depth perception in gyms and arenas, that does affect shooters. That is something that can affect sight, distance, how close and how far. So the first night, it wasn't a problem for him. Last night, they went into Thomas and Mack. And excuse my my nasally sound. I had nasal, and I haven't done my daily rinse or whatever you want to call it. So excuse me for that. Man. But I just thought I would add that. But the second night, he was in Thomas and Mack, and you saw a difference, because he shot a couple air balls. You could tell it was kind of off a little bit in how he played. And it's interesting because tomorrow, no, they don't play tomorrow, because they play back-to-backs. So he doesn't play again. So Thursday in, let me find out what arena they're in. So they're in Cox Pavilion Thursday. And for everybody following and watching, let's watch. Let's see if it's back on. I think if he is back, that would be a tell sign of it was different. Somebody just put up he shot 50%. Let's not manipulate numbers for 1 second to think that the first night and the second night were equal, Mr. Jones. Like let's not be that guy, because it's not even his performance the first night compared to the second night. It's not the same. It's not the same. So, I mean, I think the jury's still out. I think he has to have a complete summer league. I think he has to do something to the level when you talk about making this team. He probably would have to be like an all-tournament team, maybe potentially, to make this team in this situation. And if he does that, that only helps the situation to make it a team.
Yeah, and that's why I'm kind of, and I said this on a few streams already. I'm not really going to put like my own solo video out until about 3 games. because I remember the first game. It was a whole bunch of and I love this for LiAngelo, because we talking about a kid who doesn't really have real film in about 3 years, and a lot of opinions, both good, mostly bad, about what he's doing and what have you. And so to see him come out game one, because I want to be honest. I mean, I know you'll attest to this. I don't care what you think the level the kid is, to come out there and score 16 on your first game playing in the NBA Summer League. That's nothing easy to do at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can all understand that. Mm-hmm. And I get it. This is not quite NBA talent as far as everyday NBA talent, but this is the best of the rest, if that makes sense. The leftover guys who aren't on an NBA roster per se right now, or so young that they haven't really got on the court. So what I'm saying is competition. Can we agree to that?
Yeah. I mean, 100%. 100%. But as we always said too, it's going to have to be an ideal situation for him. And I think this is.
I ain't even got there yet. Yeah, I ain't got there yet. So the point I'm saying is, I don't want to undermine the excitement, because it was a lot of free clicks going on in this YouTube space, and I didn't want the cheap clicks, so I didn't make a video after the first game. But man, it was going wild, man, in these YouTube streets. And I got on a few streams. I support a lot of brothers' channel, and I appreciated the fervor, because we've been waiting for a minute to see Jello do his thing, and that's what he did. He shot with high confidence. And the thing I liked the most was what he said after the game, is that he just let the game come to him. He wasn't like, he lived in the moment. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he understood, okay, that's day one. And I think that's a credit to LeVar. That's how he teaches his kids, man. It's like you always got another day after today. Today ain't just your career in one day. So
to add clarity.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Nah, and I was saying I saw a lot of like maturity in Jello. So I know he has the mental makeup to do what he has to do to get on the court in whatever capacity that is, to your point. And that was my big takeaway from game one. It wasn't necessarily him just shooting and making all them shots. I mean, we knew he had that weddy on him, especially if you've been watching him. And you texted me after the first day, you told me that, even other evaluators who aren't so invested in the family, y'all all know he got the jumper. So that is the thing that I made of game one. Game two, and one thing I don't do is on young players, I don't put too much on you, because I know once people know what you do well, they're gonna tend to sit on that, and you got to find another way to be valuable on the floor. And I will say now, like to your point, game two did not look as good as game one. However, I will say he did a lot of stuff, ancillary stuff, like putting his body on the line, going out there and doing some instinctive stuff. And I do think those are the kind of things going to keep him on the court. And I like that, because he's not just a sit in the corner guy and just, I ain't getting the ball in the corner. Shit, just watch the game go by. Like my high school coach used to say, man, it's a great game to watch. You know what I'm saying? So I do like he got after it. I get 10 minutes and 10 points. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad he did that too, because that shows me he's a ball player. Like most ball players know, okay, if I'm not getting my shot, what else can I do? And I like his activity big time, man. And so I'm not going to put a video out to the third game I see, because once people get used to you, you get used to them. What do you do? And that's what my opinion has been off day one. And so I do want to add that as we move forward. But I'm very pleased with what I've seen so far from Jello, and I'm just hope he keep building on it. That's where I'm at on that.
So here's the interesting part, and I'm glad you said that. But just to everyone in the comments is screaming the whole 50% part. Context is everything. He shot 50% in the first game. But what the first game had was, again, look at many of his opponents. He had a Michael Beasley that played pro minutes. He had a Kenneth Faried that played real NBA minutes. He had an Antonio Blakeney. For all those that don't understand, and Cliff, me and Cliff have had legendary arguments about the context of Summer League, that don't get confused what you doing, but who are you doing it against?
Shout out to Maker.
Right. Like you're talking about, that other team had top 10 guys, lottery guys, that he had an efficient 50%, 5 for 8 from 3. That's going to be his job. When you got Emmanuel Mudiay, who was a top 10 pick, these are the guys he was playing against. You got the kid CJ Ellerby, who was a top 20 pick. So when he did that against them, that holds way more weight than the very next day that he goes 1 for 4 from 3, and that's going to be his job. Oh, but he shot 50%. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same sandwich. Just don't try to manipulate analytics. I mean, look, they manipulate analytics enough. Let's not try to manipulate the numbers like it was, you know what I'm saying? It was the same because it wasn't. It wasn't. And that's all we're saying. So we can't say it was the same. He shot 50%. If you watch the game, don't run to the box score. Go watch the game. If you're telling me that the first night and the same night was the same because the number said he shot 50% both nights, then that lets me know everything you know about basketball.
So what are your comments about the point guard play being bad as far as it to give him opportunity?
I don't think the point guard play has anything to do with him making shots. Like, you still got to make shots. You have to make shots in the role that you're in. Yes, the point guard play was terrible. Like, DJ Carton looked bad. He looked like somebody that had no business leaving college early. So we're all on the same page with that. But still, when you get these opportunities to get shots, you have to make them. You have to defend. You have to sit down. Because, I mean, again, we always want to look at things one-sided, like you said, and you always say it best, Cliff, when people are heavily invested in a particular topic or theme, people just look at it one-sided. You got to look at both sides. How well did he sit down and keep his man in front of him? How many times did Davion get in the lane at will and get other shots for other people? Like, a lot of that comes into play. So his reaction time, because like you said, the first day, he did a lot of the little things. He used his body. He used his frame. So, I mean, if this is all about, let's get this out the way. If people are just fighting the fight to say that he's going to make a team, I can say that you know what? Yes, he may get a year or two in the NBA. The way that the business works, he will probably get a year or two in the NBA. But now if you're talking about actually playing roles and being a part of somebody's rotation, that is a whole nother conversation. But if people are just fighting this fight to say LeVar was right, he got his 3 sons, LeVar's probably going to be right. Because again, like, people are comparing it to the Giannis brothers. They don't do shit, but I will tell you this, like you and I both talked about backstage, Cliff, the Giannis brothers stay out the way. Don't nobody say nothing. They let their brother, his agent, whatever, work what they work. We look up, they're in the NBA. But you definitely better look the part. You better do everything in your role to stay out the way, and the rest will take care of itself. But it's so much more to it in regards to what his position will be. I saw somebody say, well, he can play the 3. No, he's going to be a 2. So he's going to have to be quick enough, athletic enough, and he has to make shots.
I think that's a great point, because here's something, man. And shout out to my man Talvin Hester, coaches at Texas Tech. One thing he told me back when he was my coach at Prairie View, man, shout out to PV. I saw Jackson State alum, man. Shout out to PV in the building, man. 2019 SWAC champs, man. I got a rep for the home squad. But one thing Talvin used to tell me when I was a player for him is that, man, you are what you can guard. So a lot of players, you know, unless you're just so stout offensively that it don't matter, your position is what you can guard. And so that's interesting. You said that Jello been the 2, and because 2 guards shooting and smarts, he definitely has that. I love throwback players, and Jello's one of those come off screen guys. He knows who he is, because there's a place for that. Ask JJ Redick. There's a place for that. And Jello actually has an ability to throw his body around it and mix it up. Like you just said, he has the ability to mix it up too. So I do like that makeup for him, but I do want to, you know, because we know what a 2 guard entails, man. It's a lot of quick twitch movement. It's a lot of sitting in that seat, like you said, breaking down defensively and just straight up shutting boys down. And now I will say this, after missing so much basketball, I don't expect to see that in no damn summer league. I expect him to show that he belongs on the NBA court. And I think so far so good in that capacity, with him not being a primary option. I think we all understand that, Chat and Dane. So I'm just looking forward to put the whole thing to be put together. I'm not one of those dudes, man. I learned, I ain't gonna lie, man. All right, so Dane gets on me about thumb makeup, man. So I learned my
I ain't gonna lie to you too. I saw him, and I shook my head. He out here walking around like wanting people to ask, "Hey man, who you play for, man? If you don't sit your goofy ass down somewhere, like It's over, man. It's over.
Yeah, so I learned, man, because Thurman had a really good summer league, guys. He had a really good, I think one game he had 15 points, 17 rebounds, or some shit like that. And in the NBA, he hasn't averaged over like 4 rebounds or something to that effect. So I've learned to be a little more patient with my evaluation for a talent that I may personally like. And I personally like LiAngelo Ball. I mean, his story, y'all all know that. But I think he's genuinely a good kid. I think he's made of the right stuff. Like, you want a guy, because you know how it goes, man. I'm a cuss right quick. It's like all these fuck boys that come to the NBA, man, and they just don't understand process. They don't. It's me, my show. And I love every time LiAngelo speaks, man. Everybody, you know, because I feel like the media wants him to be like happy-go-lucky. Oh yeah, man, I scored 10 points. I scored. LiAngelo's like I've been doing this my whole life. Like, I'm just looking for my shot. I'm not trying to go out and, you know, be something I'm not. I'm not trying to go out and do something I can't do. I'm looking for my shot. And I don't have to rush it. And I like that about him, because that shows, again, maturity. And that shows somebody that you can use in the right scenario. I think Dain taking the call. That's why he's frozen. But I'll go ahead and keep monologuing from this part. And that's something I do appreciate a lot about the makeup of LiAngelo Ball. And I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm just one of those let me see it to believe it kind of fellas. And so far, I like what I see as we going forward. So I want to push that. I want to say that as we're going forward, because I think these discussions are very necessary in this space, because, again, you know, I'm pro Ball family. Y'all know that about me. What I am also, too, is very objective, because I know if I can be saying all this wild shit, and then Dain will go tell Jed Jeffries and tell all the homies in the other people, the NBA group, like, man, this dude right here off is rocking. So y'all got to understand, man, I'm always going to keep a G on these streams, man.
No, hey, what I could tell you. No, that's what I'm about to say. What I know for sure is you don't teeter back and forth. You don't do that. Like, how you feel and when you view things, you view it on how you see it, which is fair. And again, coming from a basketball background, former professional, like it's granted, and we have our likes and dislikes, and we have our misses. That's not a problem at all. I think it's just, again, it's even breaking it down to it's almost breaking it down to the simplest form of what's going to help a person be successful, and people have to understand that. Like, somebody said, "Oh, he had 4 steals in 2 games." You can lead the league in steals. That doesn't mean you're a great defender. And when you say that, exactly. But when you say that to people that are in such, again, they're heavily invested in a particular space, they want to argue with you. But to a basketball mind, a person that knows basketball, just because you have 4 steals in 2 games, that doesn't make you a great defender. That doesn't. And like you just used the example, Allen Iverson, like, you shoot the pass lanes well. Somebody was sloppy with the ball. I mean, it's whatever. It doesn't matter. But I think people have to, as you said, let it play itself out. Let it continue to go, because I think, like, this is the game within the game. Y'all play back-to-back games. You're about to have 2 days off. How do you respond, Thursday? How do you respond? How do you come back with all this free time down? You can't be on the floors gambling. You can't be doing this. You got to stay in your room. You can't eat in public places. How do you handle that? Because this is now part of the new NBA norm for a lot of these young guys. And trust me, I've seen some out there gambling. I've seen some trying to stay low, trying to be stealth. And no, Vegas.
7-foot stealth.
Yeah, like, what are you talking, man? Like, for those that are not familiar with Vegas, like truly familiar, it's the Strip and that's it. And even when you say it's the Strip, I mean, you're talking about, it's not even 10 blocks, because a lot of people don't go to old Vegas. They want to be in new shiny Vegas. Well, new shiny Vegas is like a 3-block radius. That stretch from the Aria to probably the Encore, that's it. You're not going west of Vegas. You're not going. Now, if you're a seasoned person like yourself or like myself, and you might work out in Summerlin or Henderson, yeah, that's how you move stealth. There's no stealth movement on the Strip in Vegas. So,
no,
I mean, it is what it is.
No. Well, and shout out to DJ. He's speaking about the game within the game. Well, you know, if you hoop like that, that's something you've been hearing your whole career, man. And it truly is a game within the game, man. And shout out to Coach. Goddamn, what's Coach damn last name? Damn, I can't think of Coach name. But Coach, so with DJ Stream, he does a really good job of breaking things down for multi levels, and that's how you know Coach know about about ball, because in everything it's literally like it's surface level of shit you see on the court, and then it's the backstories. The backstories make all the stuff make sense that don't necessarily come to light if you're privy to it or if you understand what that process looks like. And so in this case, with Dain talking about guys being not focused, he's not lying. I remember playing again in that tournament in Vegas when my senior year, when I was 23. I seen a lot of players in them casinos late with us who had bigger programs than me. You know, I'm coming from a low major, D1 program, and I'm seeing guys who had a big game the next day out there kicking it. So yeah, that's just what it is, man. And so that's facts. That's facts.
So let's look at this too. So regardless of what James Book Night is.
Sorry, Coach Joe. I'm sorry I did that.
The starter going to the season. The starter is likely Terry Rozier. Now he's going into the last year of a contract. Of course, they could trade him. They probably could. The Hornets are going to have to raise his value though. So if we do see them playing him a lot, showcasing him early on, he's putting up big numbers. That's to potentially move him at the deadline. But if he's up there stinking it up, which I don't think he will be because he too is in a contract year, it becomes a decision that Michael and those guys in the front office are going to have to make in regards to, do we keep Terry to try to be competitive, make the playoffs because they were close last year, or do we still stay in this rebuild, get Terry up out of there, leave it on Book Night, leave it on Jello to potentially play a good chunk of the minutes, and then we be in the lottery again. But next year's draft, at this point, as we see it now before the season start, it doesn't have a bunch of promising prospects in next year's draft thus far. So in understanding that, or I shouldn't say, there's no generation, it's not an abundance of generational talent coming in next year's draft.
I got what you mean.
Charlotte would want to, the Hornets would want to, man, we need to be high. Exactly.
Yeah, I got you.
So not for nothing, they want to be competitive. They want to be good. So if that is the case, your backcourt is going to be consumed by LaMelo and Terry Rozier. And hopefully Book Night anywhere between 16 to 25 minutes. How much that leave Jello if he makes the team? Again, he's going to be in almost like a mercenary role. He's going to be in such a singular role. You don't need everybody saying about the defense. If he's making shots at an efficient and high clip, then he has a great chance of making this team. And I mean, that's just again, maybe my last piece with it for him. If he's making shots like he did in that first game, and again, I tweeted it, Cliff. You can go back and check it out. That game was almost like to show the world to never take this game for basketball for granted. At the high school level, collegiate level, or the pro level. Because of all the people that I ran down to you, again, Moutier was a lottery. Beasley was the number 2 pick. Fareed was first team all rookie less than 10 years ago. I mean, it was so many guys. That was a cautionary tale to many of these young guys. Vernon Carey was Mr. Everything to everyone out of high school. He averaged close to a double-double at Duke. Everyone swore he was a top 10 pick. He was a second-round pick. And it's just like, people have to understand you have to give this game your all and not take it for granted under no circumstance, but make sure that this is, because again, it's a career. It's just not a game. Again, it's your career. It's something that if you get in at 19, 20 years old, if you reach 35, you've been around for 15 years. That's a long time. But some people are not making it that far. So I think it's just understanding everyone.
I think Dain kind of froze up. Dave, I'll get you when you get back on. So I'll address some of these comments, and I like where this is going. Okay, I think you're back. Go ahead, bro. Go on, finish your thought. I think you froze up on us.
No, I'm here. I just my screen went out as well. But no, someone was saying that, man, he's just a rookie. Evaluate him as that. I mean, there are no passes Like you're amongst men, you have to find your space. You have to get in where you fit in, and there's no you don't get a discounted rate. Like nobody was screaming LaMelo was a rookie. He was a pro. He just so happened to be in his first year. That's what that was. But you don't get a discount of what comes at you when it comes to evaluating or breaking down someone's ability just because you're in your first year. If you're a pro, you're a pro. And it goes from there. Because if he gets MVP or he gets the fucking All-Star game or anything, again, you don't get nothing extra. You're supposed to do that. You're a pro.
Yeah, and I think these conversations are valuable because everybody who follows my page knows I'm a very pro ball family. But I think you guys need to understand this from a level of people who respect the family, but maybe just not invested like that, and just how they see it just from a population of everybody's the same. It's talent or it ain't. And I think in these spaces, this is very much necessary. And Dana, they're gonna be going at your neck the whole stream, just so you know that. But but it's good to have these so you can understand perspective outside of yours.
You know that.
And I want to go ahead. Oh, okay.
No. I said I'm good with whatever they say. I mean, I read it and I just laugh because it's like you just said it. Like you have to have a perspective out of your own. If for anybody that is an advocate of the family to say, I think he needs to create his own shot, he will never be in a setting to create his own shot. Not what that team has and what they're building. LaMelo has to get his shit off. Miles Bridges has to get his stuff off. PJ Washington, regardless of what he's going through, he has to have his shots. He's not going to be in a space to create his own shot. But because he can shoot, he just needs to worry about the efficiency and proficiency in which he is making and taking shots. That's it. And that alone, like you said about JJ Redick has made over $100 million doing just that. Doing just that. Catch, shoot. Catch, shot fake, shoot. Like, what are we talking about? You don't need to create anything. Just make a shot. That's it.
Yep. And that's just what it is, man. And I guess my space in this whole existence that is YouTube, man, is to share. I like to bridge the passionate fan to the experienced talent evaluator level,
right?
A pro played level. I like to bridge this. This is my job. I think it just hit me like right now. What my job is on YouTube is to bridge all this because it can get wild on both ways. And to the people, who are passionate in this chat, I salute y'all because to be fair, 2-3 years ago, a lot of people who were talent evaluators, who are former pros, were shitting on this man like he couldn't play dead. So we got to keep it fair because they act like this dude playing in Lithuania, getting pulled out of UCLA, going to the JBA, like he was just making these moves where he would never see the light of NBA day. And so this is vindication in a lot of ways. So I do want to explain this whole thing properly. And I think we'd be remiss not to, be honest about where this started and why the passion is there because, this from a kid who I know he's a 3-star kid, but led California scoring, 2 years, which is not an easy feat. So, I think that is a derivative of what we see too. So I think that is important to understand in this process as well.
Right. And I think Trent just made a comment to it, and that's real. Like Trent, Joe Harris just got $75 million to make shots. I don't think you hear anybody from the Joe Harris clan say Joe Harris got to create shots. No. Just when Kyrie, when Durant, when James Harden kick it to you, just make the shot. Either make the catch and shoot or the shot fake and shoot. That's it. And you can get 75. Like, I can't even believe we're like really having that conversation to break it down, bro. Just make shots. You can get $75 million.
Well, because in this space, again, we're going more of the fan perspective. There's not a lot of respect for specialists. So that's why people will shit on, let's say, name me somebody, historically a Tayshaun Prince. The casual or average fan won't give Tayshaun Prince the flowers he deserves. They'd be like, oh, he can't shoot. He ain't that good. But Tayshaun Prince was the glue that held the I won't call it a dynasty, but a quasi-dynasty
They had a run.
They had a nice run.
They went to 6 Eastern Conference Finals in a row, so that was a hell of a run. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
To your point, to that very point, Gilbert Arenas and Brendan Haywood, to our favorite former NBA player and a goofy brother of ours, Jared Jeffries. They took their time out on a podcast and gave it up to how much Jared missing him hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Washington was competing with Cleveland like almost every year. And then Jared left for the money, and it for Washington, it took a nosedive. So those type of guys that you're mentioning, it matters. It definitely matters. It matters a lot.
It does. And I personally, I love glue guys. I love guys who know their role. I love guys who do what they do, give you a little extra, and they just stick to that. Like, because you have to have a team with those kind of guys. You can't have a team of just all individuals, or you're going to look like a professional AAU team, a la Sacramento Kings, a la, as of late, I mean, I guess you could say the Wizards, kind of, sort of, but the teams that's always, like the Cavs, those are like grown AAU teams. It's a free fall. So I respect guys who know who they are and do what they do. So, and that's just what I am. And I think there's no shame whatsoever in being that kind of player, because you're going to get paid a lot in your career. And not only that, you're going to be a valuable member to some really good basketball teams.
Mm-hmm. You can throw the Rockets into that. Right now, the Rockets is probably like an older AAU team. I mean, that average age is super low. And I got a bunch of young guys. So, I mean, it's what it is. But teams make that commitment. Teams make that commitment to go that route.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to Flight Sports, man. Fellow New Yorker in the building, man. Hey, when you get a chance, dang, check this man's channel. I call him all the time, the Jerry Springer of the ball, bro. This is the most entertaining shit. Well, I love Flight Channel, man. So he from Flight. Where you at? Type where you from in New York in the chat. You know, all that shit the same to me. So you know, Dain, you know, he likes that dirty place y'all from. So,
hey, watch him out. Watch him out. Watch him out. But no, I think Summer League it's getting good though. Some guys still haven't hit the floor. I think tonight everyone will be tuned in because Detroit plays Houston. So you have, you know, the number 1 and 2 pick going at each other. They've had a little rivalry. I mean, dating back to when they entered high school. So it'll be interesting to see those guys compete against one another on the pro floor. And as we know throughout history, number 1 and 2 picks are always linked to one another, whether one flops or one, you know, takes it to the top. They're always going to be linked because, you know, why did they do this? Who did they do that? So on and so forth. So for Jaylen, he looked comfortable. He looked good. Can't lie about that. Cade hit his first 2 shots. It looked smooth and he looked comfortable. And then, you know, the game started to settle in. Oh, he's from Hempstead, New York. Okay, he's from Long Island. I know exactly where Hempstead is at. So for Cade, I think it's putting together that fluid game. I think it's putting together that the total package that he can often bring to the forefront. So somebody said I'm just trying to think Pistons made a mistake picking Cade over Jaylen. I mean, we'll see over time. I mean, time will tell. Of course, we can say that, but we will see what's needed.
Facts. I'm not gonna lie, man. Cade, I'm just being honest. Like you said, hitting them first 2 shots, you know, we did see that, but 5 for 17 is not good, man.
No.
And he looks a little slow to me. To be a point guard, 2 guard, hybrid, big, whatever he is, he look a little slow to me, man. I don't love what I saw so far, but again, I'm not gonna go off one damn summer league game.
You know what's wild?
Yeah.
He's actually playing at the speed that he's always played at, bro. I had a fight, literally, because again, I had Cade. He was in my region. I dealt with him throughout high school, and people doubted his ability. But what's so crazy about his game right now, from, again, the very first moment, seeing him as an 8th grader. Like, his game hasn't changed. He's just gotten taller. Mm-hmm. He's gotten stronger. But he had his game, the speed, how he plays it, hasn't changed. It's not even a change for him in that aspect. I think it's him understanding, kind of recalibrating. Okay, I'm going up a level, and I don't foresee him ever having his confidence shaken, because that's never been his style. It's never been the style. He's never been someone who's built off of the adulation from the public, and knowing that he needs that positive reinforcement to be who he is. Like, he knows people have doubted him before, and he rose to the #1 pick. So, of course, that first game was a terrible game. I look for him to pick it up tonight. But I think when people say or question the pick for him over Green in regards to Detroit, it's what Detroit is trying to build. And that's what we have to ask ourselves, because they did take Killian Hayes last year. And for those that are sort of Pistons, you would man up to say Killian Hayes ain't it. They took Sekou, the kid, I think 2 years before that. He's not it. So Detroit a little bit is on the clock, and I don't think this is going to fall on the good brother Trey Weaver's back, because he just got there. But who was responsible for taking these other picks? We need to get your ass out of here, because I took some other people. I had Thon Maker. That didn't work. So between Sekou, Killian Hayes, and to a certain degree, Thon, their projections and evals a little bit haven't been connecting in Detroit. They did get it right with Saddiq Bey. That was a good thing. And I didn't realize he was as solid as he was in the frame.
He caught me off guard too. I didn't know shit about him. I was like, damn.
He played really well. But he coming from that Villanova brand of basketball. Shout out to Coach Wright and all those guys getting it done at Nova. I think that's a good piece. If we can now build on that with Cade and Saddiq Bey was a Troy Weaver pick last year. If Troy hits it again with Cade this year, it's all going to be, because all rookies, no matter the program, no matter the team they go to, confidence is going to be everything. Mm-hmm. Are you going to a franchise, like we said it before, Cliff, like when we had Trey, is Cade the road they leave him out there? Absolutely. But every rookie doesn't have that luxury. They're not going to have that luxury. You take like Josh Christopher, if he plays for the Rockets, he was a 26 pick. If he turns it over once, he's probably coming out the very next day of play. So the confidence factor, many of these rookies are going to be huge. How much does that franchise stick with you? How much do they believe in you regardless of the fact? And that's going to be huge in all these guys' development, including, Cade and Jaylen.
No, I'm with that. Because you got to start holding teams accountable for picks and acquisitions and what have you, because that's how you know where the direction of the franchise is. And again, y'all know me, I love Thon Maker, but Thon Maker ain't producing, man. So I'm not gonna be a blind supporter going forward, going with the decisions to have Derrick Rose in, Derrick Rose out, bring Blake Griffin in black with the blockbuster trade. Didn't work out. So, you're on the clock to start making some competent moves, and we can't act like this stuff isn't happening with a storied franchise with the Detroit Pistons are. Man, shout out to Ball Facts, man. The homie, man. That boy, you tearing the numbers up, bro. Keep doing your shit. Flight, I gotta inject a little bit of foolery into this. Man, I don't know who the Universe Galaxy is, but he calling you out, but he called me out too. I don't know what that's about, but I just had to say that. All right, so Jalen Green, man. So he's representing. I think we did touch on that already about the Jalen Green situation, who I think so far looks good, man. I like guys with stuff in their bag.
Right.
What's your opinion about Jalen Green? I know we touched on him a little bit, touching in. Before you go, I'll say this. From what I see, I love his body control, because a lot of guys that young don't know how to use their body quite yet. So he likes to body up, free up, get his points. I do like, his 3-ball. He can shoot that mug. He's real crafty. And I think he overall just have a good feel for basketball, which is something that is hard to quantify, because that's more eye test. And so if I'm looking eye test, I do like what I like so far. I hate the fact the Rockets have him. You know me, I hate Houston fans with a passion, from Houston. So I hate they got a player like this. So what's your take so far of Jalen Green, man?
So I'm glad you got it posted on the screen and leave it there, because this is literally clearly Justin wasn't here when I said this, but see, you can't do that. You can't say Jalen is a representative of what the high school to G League route could be with Ignite. Like, no, because so then what about Deshaun Nix? He went the same route. He didn't have that same success. Isaiah Todd, he didn't have that same success. So we can't take isolated situations and then generalize it across high school and say, well, this could be the route. No, it's going to be a small percentage, and Jalen Green is talented and good enough that worked for him. That doesn't mean it's going to work for little Johnny from Charleston, South Carolina. That doesn't mean it's going to work for Shaquem in Brooklyn, New York. No. Are you in that lane to check all the boxes that if you as a talent, maybe this is a better way to say it, Justin. If you as a talent can check all the boxes that Jalen Green had, that Jonathan Kuminga had, then yes, you go that route. But if you can't check those boxes, there is no guarantee that you can go that route. It's not a cookie cutter, formable, type of thing. But if you have many of the things that those that have had success from that range, if you can really do those things at a high level like them, sure. But
Question.
Well,
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. Go finish your thought. My bad.
No, but as far as Jalen as a talent, I think you couldn't ask for a better situation. He's in a situation, again, that he's going to be allowed to make as many mistakes as he can. He's the number 2 pick. You're playing with a John Wall who, while I think it's going to be hard-pressed to kind of move him, he's going to be there for 2 years. So pick his brain. Look at a lot of the things that John did and not do. A lot of the things that John did wrong, and try not to copy that. I think also the organization is 100% behind him, so he has to lean on that, where you got legendary figures like a John Lucas that can help his growth and development, because John, too, was a former number 1 pick. He's such a fabric and a DNA to the city of Houston. Absolutely. He can show him a ways around the city, skipping the local rap-a-lot tax and understanding how to move appropriately in the city of Houston in the right way. I think he'll be fine. He had his own tags of levels of sensitivity and softness in high school, but I think he can shake that with ease, with just being electric. Being who he is. I mean, when you go back to his draft day outfit, it was an electric Michael Jackson off the wall feel. That's how he needs to play. That's how he needs to be, and that's how he needs to play. So nothing but success and great fortune to him going forward. And I think he'd be fine, because Houston's in a rebuild situation. He just can't let losing crush his confidence. You know what I'm saying? Because some people can have all the freedom in the world and they're natural losers, so they won't have a problem with it. They'll put up wild numbers. We saw that with guys like
Wiggins.
Yeah, they can flourish in a losing situation.
I like Wiggins, but it is what it is. That's not
what you want.
Yeah.
That you want to compete for the playoffs and things like that. That's how you build your name and your brand as a player in the NBA, is getting to the playoffs and carrying teams to the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA Finals, things like that. You may have to take your lumps. You lose in the first round, cool, but you had to taste the blood, and you're starting to figure it out and going from there.
Absolutely, man. And so this is actually a great question from Trent. I know this is early takes. Do you think the Detroit Pistons made a mistake taking Cade over Jaylen?
No, because again, I think when you're looking at how they're trying to build, they put the ball in Killian's hands, and they saw it wasn't it. They saw that he may be more of a second unit guy, and he's still young as well. But I think they know, looking at what Cade did at Oklahoma State and putting guys on his back and wanting to lead. Like, people got to understand something too. You've been on teams like I have. Not everyone is built to be a leader.
Hell no.
Not everyone is. Anytime you was on a team as a kid and the coach had to name the leader, he was never the leader. He never was. It never worked that way. But the vocal guy, the guy who told people where to go and people listen, those are your leaders. And I think Cade, he has that innate ability inside of him to be that leader. So it is what it is.
So what you think about this? So I guess Cade, I guess officially, well, he was listed 6'8", as we all were hearing. Officially listed 6'6". Does that change anything?
Nope. I mean, so that people know, and I probably can. I wish I could share a screen. I don't know if I could, but actually, I could share a screen.
Yeah, you can turn your camera to it, I think.
Nah, I'm gonna pull a file. I'm gonna try to get fancy on y'all one time.
Okay, hold up.
But I have one of my old. Oh, it's not letting me pull it up for whatever reason. Because I was gonna pull a report in my pro breakdown that I did with Cade, where I tell people in a heartbeat, bro, like I didn't have him compared to Grant Hill and all that craziness that people were talking. My pro people, when it comes to pro comps, everyone wants the sexy Hall of Fame All-Star pro comp.
Yeah.
No. That's someone that's a lazy comp. Yeah. Because here we go. If somebody is, and you saw this firsthand, Cliff, if you're a 6'5" point guard and you're light-skinned from California, who you gonna be?
Jason Kidd. I think you froze again on me. Yeah.
Cliff,
all right, back. Yeah,
I
Jason
said if you're light-skinned 6'5" point guard from California, who you gonna be compared to?
Jason Kidd.
Exactly. And you may be nothing like Jason Kidd. That's a lazy comp. And I think all of us hold ourselves responsible to not do that. If you're 6'8", if you're 6'9", skinny, and you can make a jumper, not shoot a jumper, but make jumpers, who are you gonna be compared to?
KD. Shoot jumpers.
We have that rehearsed, but that's just how that's where the business has gotten lazy and it's irresponsible. So for me, again, my comp for Cade, I really do compare him to Malcolm Brogdon. And people be like, "Oh, Malcolm Brogdon, what?" But wait a minute, slow down. Malcolm Brogdon was Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
He's led some teams to the playoffs, and he just got a $90 million extension. What is it to be up in arms about?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because the average person don't watch Malcolm Brogdon. The average person see Malcolm Brogdon's box score, so they can't relate to the comparison.
That's pitiful. And I think that's where people have to compare. They have to challenge themselves to do better. So like, man, I told you he that's fine. When I said he's a twin, that's fine. But deal the game, his infectious attitude around teammates, all that is there. And again, clearly Detroit valued that for their organization. He did. But if this kid turns around, he's Rookie of the Year. If he turns around after 2 years, he gets a $90 million extension. Like, what are we talking about? Now it's just about being a pro. I think even for yourself, when you take Lonzo's gotten to that first contract extension. He's got $85 million. At this point now, I don't think it's going to be polarizing about him anymore. It's either is he getting the job done or he's not. Mm-hmm. That's it. It's not. It's nothing. He's a pro. He's an NBA player. He's here to stay. As you would say, and I hate quoting you, deal with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's what it is. So I think it's going to be the same thing for LaMelo. He's going to keep getting criticized until he gets the extension. He got $100 million. Deal with it. And I think that applies to every young pro. That's their journey the first 3 to 4 years. Where are they falling at with extensions? Do they get the 100 and something? Do they get the 200 something like Trey? Or do they get the minimum? Oh, shit, they might be out the league. Guess what? Deal with it. Josh Jackson doesn't have a deal. Stanley Johnson doesn't have a deal. Guess what? Deal with it. Like, I don't care what the hype was. That's when for everyone that has an opinion, that's when if it's over or it's not. It's when those contract extensions come, what's being fed to them. We're looking at your man from Germany. I just woke up to that news, Schroeder. Like, now he's getting a qualifying offer after turning down $85 million. Schroeder, guess what? deal with it. I mean, it's what it is. Like
You
you're
overplayed
looking
his
at,
hand.
hey, he overplayed his hand, man. Bird in the hand, beat two in the bush. He had it in his hand. So, hey, man, I don't know what to tell people.
Hey, I like to make these analogies on my channel about the dating pool. It's just like that chick who was hot, 18, 25, still hot. You saw at 30, she curved all these dudes, and when she turned 30, she ready to settle down. Oh, baby, it's a wrap.
Over.
For the streets.
For the streets.
Yeah, so hey, Schroeder learned a hard lesson, man. You better strike while the iron is hot, because if you wait, that's cool to bet on yourself. But if you strike out, you're going to strike out real tough. So, man, everybody been asking about Jaylen Suggs, and I do want to address this. So far, to me, he's looked the best individually. And I will say, my notes on him is he's a complete player. I like the fact he can shoot the midi, he can shoot the three. And I like guys who can use their body early. I do like that because that shows nuance to your game. And his defense is really good, man. You wouldn't expect a 6'4" guy to get blocks like that, except like D Wade. But I think he has a really, really strong feel for the game that we call basketball. And I do like what I see so far. Of course, he had a great college career, but I like what I see a lot from Jaylen Suggs, man. What are your opinions on Jaylen Suggs, bro?
I mean, I think he has a level of confidence. I always felt his leadership abilities were vastly underrated. This is a kid that was a former quarterback as well. And it's just certain things, quarterbacks, point guards, that when you've done this since you were a baby, you have a level of smartness that not many people possess. I do, however, want to stand corrected because, I mean, I like to be as correct. Nobody likes to walk around being wrong. But I was saying about C.J. Ellerby being a first-round pick. I stand corrected. He was a second-round pick. But it was still someone that I was familiar that Portland was high on, and he was here in Summer League. But I just looked at that whole Portland for granted crew. It was just shaking my head because it was a lot of guys who they were your high school All-Americans, they were your collegiate stars, and here they are fighting it out in Summer League. But as far as Suggs, I like Suggs. I think, me personally, I thought Suggs, could go in the top 3 potentially. But I think the makeup for a lot of those teams, if it wasn't Detroit, it wasn't going to be the Rockets and it wasn't going to be Cleveland. I think he fell right. And it wasn't going to be Toronto just because they gave Van Fleet all that bread. I didn't see that happening. Somebody said also in answering many of our people, top 4 players to watch today. I'm watching Sharif Cooper. They got the first game today at 3. I'm really trying to see his transition at the pro level. He was somebody who had a real comfort in high school, in grassroots, and even in college, doing it his way. And now his safe place is being shaken a little bit and having to do it the way someone wants you to do it. And I really want to see how he's going to adjust. Probably go, of course, like we said, Cade and Jaylen, they got their head-to-head matchup at 6 p.m. my time, which is 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. I think that's going to be a good matchup. Bol was on some shit kind of a little bit the other night, which was concerning to me a little bit. I didn't like.
Yes.
He was giving off that take it for granted shit too a little bit, just because you was a rotational guy. Here you in Summer League and you was on some real selfish, bringing it up, nobody touching it, 1 foot runners, just it was kind of crazy to me. So
hey, let me say this real quick. I hate to interrupt you. With Bol, man, you know what? Bol reminds me of the dude you hooping with who got all the bag. He got all the skills. But when it comes to putting it all together to a finished product, I don't see it. Because, and one play sticks out to me when he went coast to coast behind the back and he did the little move. And then when it got to time to finish, he had nothing. Because a real scorer, because he tried to score on the left short corner, like baseline area. A real scorer, because like a dude came in to close out on him, he would have spent off of him or used body and finished. He had nothing when they collapsed on him. So it was a highlight up until the time to finish. And it was nothing at the end. Bol was like a 7'2",
7'3", maybe
7'3", yeah, with things on him. but it's like almost falling for the thumb maker disease. And so I noticed that, and I was like, damn. Because a real hooper with all the, again, going coast to coast, going, behind the back on Buddy and all that shit. And then when it was time to finish, it's like he ran out of moves, man. And so I did notice that, bro. I was just like, ugh, I don't love that. That
well,
tells me to get your big ass on the block.
Well, right. Well, what we called it, $1 million move, 2-cent shot. Like, so you can't do all this and all that, and then you do some bullshit. Like you can't. No, you can't.
You know who used to do that shit, bro? JaVale McGee used to do that shit. JaVale McGee used to push it full court. Y'all don't remember? Watch him for the Nuggets and watch him for the Wizards. JaVale McGee had the clemency to push full court, and that would always end bad. So when JaVale McGee started playing good, he turned to a short corner big. When he turned to a rim running.
Here go the wild part. And again, we know how the game is played. If Ball was just to rim protect, rim run, get to the dunker spot, and occasionally step out.
Occasionally.
Like he will get $70 million, $60 million. But so many people get caught up and they get in their own way. And for him, I hope the kid really figures it out. I know Denver and the guys over there, Calvin Booth, Jared was even over there at one time. They have a great solid system. They have an infrastructure set for him to be great. I think it's just him truthfully buying into wanting to be great and wanting to really figure out, what is my role going to be? Because again, I think some of these guys do not realize. I think their goal is just to say I was an NBA. Mm-hmm. The goal is to make it a career. Because as time is starting to go on, and I had a management person tell me this at a game yesterday. People have to understand for the one and done crowd, there's always going to be abundance anywhere between 12 to 25 guys every single year prematurely leave college that are that 19, 20, 21-year-old window. And if you don't want to do what we want you to do, Cliff, I will just replace you. Which even $1 million, that's not hurt my pocket. That's not me, Cliff. I could be giving you 1.5. But if you don't want to be on the bench like Jack Haley or Cliff Livingston, hire saying Kenneth Robinson to go wave this towel, and guess what? I'm gonna give him $2 million. So some people, they don't understand their roles. I think more of these young guys have to understand their actual role in the NBA. So if it's going back to, guess what, Jello? I just need you to make shots.
Yeah, you kind of freezing on me, Dane. I think, I don't know, hey, y'all type in chat. Is Dane freezing? It's freezing on my end. So look, let me know if Dane is freezing. So I'll let him address that when he gets back in. What's up, Vern? Vern. All right. So I guess we'll talk about Mobley. Let me address this real quick. Yeah, Dane must took a phone call. So we'll get back to him once he get back. LiAngelo Ball is the best player on the Hornets Summer League roster. Changed my mind. That's that. You're gonna have to give me some tangible evidence to say that. You can say anything, on these streams. I want to know what your reasoning is for that, because I'm a big supporter of Jello Ball. What I don't do is just blanket statements, So if you can give me your reasoning for that, then I'll listen to it. All right, so he is freezing. Okay, yeah. I gotta make sure I ain't tripping. I got a quarterback and stuff. Well, I would tell you what I think about Evan Mobley, man. So what I saw, because I got an affinity for bigs, man. I like bigs who have soft hands, guys who can finish at the rim well. And so far, I saw that from Evan Mobley. I did not watch a lot of him last year. However, I did like the fact that he has soft hands. I like the fact that he can finish with solid fluidity. I think that's a big thing in watching a big man, because do they fumble the ball? Do they understand how to keep their balance together? And I saw he played really good defense, man. So I think the Cavaliers have had a big deficiency at the big man position for let's be honest, about 10 years. I mean, Tristan Thompson's probably been the best defensive player defensive big they've had in the past, 10 some odd years. And we're talking about a guy 6'8", what Tristan Thompson was, a la undersized big. Before him, I guess Timothy Mozgov was probably one of the better defenders they had. So not a lot of quote unquote talent in that capacity, man. So so far I do like Evan Mobley. So I only saw one game, but so far I do like what I see from that young man. And so hopefully he ain't soft, because he's a little light in the ass, is what they call it in the old school. So we will see how he looks going forward. Now you froze up on us, so you want to go back to your tangent, or you want to talk about Evan Mobley?
I'm trying to make sure what I say, what I missed.
I don't know. You start freezing like a mug, man. So you was talking about we was talking about Bobo.
Oh yeah, I think it's identifying your role. I think young fella has to sit down and he has to truly understand what his role is. While a lot of players, there's 450 of the best players in the world. Of course, a lot of them could be multifaceted and can do a lot of things. But for your team, what do they need you to do? And I think that's what a lot of young guys have to understand. What does your team need you to do? They don't need you to shoot threes. They don't need you to dribble in the open court. We need you to rim protect. We need you to be a presence. And then with that, everything else comes from there. So I think with a lot of guys, they just have to identify that.
Okay, so, and I want to go back to the Evan Mobley question because we didn't get on him. I just said my opinion about him, so I want to see if my opinion coincides with yours. And so what's your opinion about Evan Mobley so far?
I mean, I think he's super talented. You're talking about somebody that's 7'1". He can affect the game both defensively and offensively. But I think, and I had this talk yesterday, that, sometime, Kendrick Perkins, ladies and gentlemen, I know he's been an advocate of hoop jogging, but the tangent and the run that he's on right now, it's our fault. We've gassed this dude up to make him think he's like the Einstein of understanding basketball. Like, my man, yes, you were a pro. You was a long-time pro. You were a pro out of high school. But that does not mean you have the mind of a seasoned 18, 16-year vet. That doesn't mean that. And I think draft night, when he literally said that defensively he's Anthony Davis and offensively he's Chris Bosh, that's not fair to him. That was irresponsible for Perkins to say that. It's just irresponsible as those that were comparing Cade to Grant Hill. It was irresponsible because if you knew Grant Hill and you knew Cade, you would know they're nothing alike.
No.
So again, it's the lazy comps of, oh, he's versatile. He can put it on the floor. He's light-skinned. Who comes to mind? Do we give him T-Mac? Do we give him Grant Hill? Like, no, watch his game. Watch his game. And you'll be able to tell what he is. So I think with Mobley, defensively, I think he and Jared Allen are going to be able to create such a line of defense. Plus, it makes up for them having a small backcourt. So when Sexton gets beat, when Garland gets beat, you got 2 footers back there to beat all that shit up. So I think he'll be fine. It was one game. The other guy from Turkey, he's been playing pro ball a little longer. I mean, they do start playing pro ball earlier, so they understand it a little bit. I mean, in Evan's case, I mean, he's just leaving college, so I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, and that's pretty much my same evaluation. My evaluation was that he has really soft hands, which is good for a big. He can finish at the rim level with fluidity. That's a big thing for having a big man. You don't want concrete hands, as they call it. And he's also, a good defender too with the 3 blocks. I don't care who you playing. 3 blocks is pretty good in the NBA competitive setting. So no, so far so good as far as Evan Mobley, in my opinion. Before we round this thing out, man, I do want to talk about Mac McClung, man. He got his own little cult of personality on the NBA level. What's your opinion about Mac, man? Matt?
Listen, man. The kid, he's a competitive kid. Started at Georgetown. He's from the VA area. He was evaluated. It wasn't until Allen Iverson kind of spoke up on him. Was like, I need to take this kid, and Georgetown took him. They gave him the world. I still don't know why he left Georgetown for what he was allowed to do. Okay, whatever. Goes to Texas Tech. Give him the world again. Don't know why he left there, but he did. And now we're here. And as you can see his game for Laker Nation fans and everyone that loves the Lakers, a la Cliff.
Yes, sir.
Just go back. Don't expect too much. Let's start with that. Go back and watch games, not highlights, but watch games of his game. And I'm not saying watch this, go look at a box score, find out the games he played well, and then watch that whole game. Watch how he was getting it done, and then ask yourself, can that be applied to Laker Nation? Because as we know, playing with LeBron James is not easy. Now you just added Russell Westbrook, so I can only expect that to get more
Lord have mercy.
Perplexed. And then now you have to find your niche. He's another one again. I think he's going to be needed more for his shooting than anything else, his defense, his energy. But to my recollection, I don't remember him being a shooter like that. So that's going to be really interesting to see how and if he blends with this Laker group. Because this Laker group is going to be they're going to be seasoned. I'm not even with the ARP jokes, and they're going to be an older group. So I can see them playing in a much older fashion. I did hear one take though. Someone was like, "Man, let Russell and AD, if he's 100% healthy, run him up for the 80. Well, not 82, but for about 50 games, and then start blending in LeBron and Melo to get to the 82 game, and then from there the vets have to take it from the playoffs." And that sounds good. I don't know if it's realistic, but that does sound good.
Yeah.
But I think the chemistry for all is just going to be so interesting with Laker Nation because the league has gotten younger. Those guys are still here. And I don't see Phoenix taking a step back. I don't see Utah taking a step back. Denver, I potentially, because they're starting without Murray. So I could see them kind of taking a hiccup a little bit.
But Golden State be back?
I'm going on the record. I don't think so. That's me. I'm gonna stand on it. I think their window is over. I think it's over. Even though, and I can't stand on this, bro. I saw James Wiseman the other day. I thought that was like Dwight Howard 2.0. Like his frame now is like that same jump that Dwight had from that second year to that third year, or whenever it is that Dwight started looking like He-Man. James is looking like that now. I ain't gonna lie to you. So
James,
I still don't believe
James Wiseman.
Yeah, I still don't believe. I don't believe because I think what we're forgetting is Steph played crazy. Draymond showed who he really was, but Klay has been out for 2 years. 2 years. So I think to think that he's going to come back to high level top 15, that's not realistic. And that's not fair to Klay. That's not fair to Klay to think he's going to come back. Now, granted, shooting is like riding a bike. He's going to be able to make shots. But defensively, that was a big part of Klay's persona of sitting down and guarding guys. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know like how he got hurt the second time. Is that mental block there? Because you and I both know if he got hurt sitting down in the stands and he slid right or left and boom, the Achilles. Like if he hurt his Achilles that way, he mentally may have that block of, man, I don't want to do that shit again. So we don't know. I think we have to give, even though I'm jumping out there thinking it's going to be too much of a lapse for Golden State to kind of get back into that championship fray and to that level. If you telling me they in that same 9th, 10th spot they was in this year, I think that's about right. But I'm not putting him in a guaranteed spot. I'm not putting him in a guaranteed playoff spot.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. And well, I happen to think a little differently. I think you don't need that much out of Clay. I think stability was missing because, I mean, Steph, for all the Steph Boo Birds out there, Steph played out of his goddamn mind this year. And then he was crazy efficient with it as well, especially from the three-point mark. I think Draymond Green fully understands his role now. Because Draymond's one of them temperamental guys, man, where he thinks he's a little more than what he is. I think this year was his humbling experience, especially when Steph was out, 2 years ago. Draymond looked terrible. Pascal was looking better than him, if we keep it in the buck.
Mm-hmm.
I think Draymond fully knows what he is going forward now. And I think humbling experience when you get past like 32 years old, you know exactly where Father Time is patting you on the back like, hey, big fella. So much that time. So
well, I think that gold medal gonna put a little. I think he might get back to his swaggerous ways. So you see him tweeting, talking crazy. So I don't know,
not, man. Because Draymond, I've been a fan of Draymond since Michigan State, man. And when people start really liking him, they start going crazy with the prognostications for him. Oh, he what the shit they were saying? MVP candidate. I'm like, stop, no. Oh, he may very well be a Hall of Famer, but it's gonna be more because team success, not because him individually. So
right.
let's be frank. But so me as a fan from day one of Draymond, I hate when people start getting crazy because I'm not one of them crazy Draymond fans, and I've been a day one Draymond fan.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, okay, so you're saying Golden State not so much. What else? Because you was lining up the West of who else can be.
I think the Clippers are going to take a step back.
Sure.
Is Pandemic P? Does he still have it in him to carry a franchise? Carry them to playoff levels. Dallas, I don't know if they. Porzingis was one of your get right. So we as much as we tease you about Thon, you did get Porzingis correct. So we got to give you your medals and your trophies on that.
I got Luka Doncic right too.
Did Porzingis re-sign or no?
I haven't heard anything about him re-signing. I don't think he's leaving though. I mean, where can he go?
He could go back to the Knicks. They got a bunch of money. I don't know. Phil Jackson ain't there no more. It's a business again. Yeah. I tell people my jewel of the day for everybody in the feed that actually are still talking about LaMelo. Fellas, let's move on. Let's focus, please. You have to know the difference between basketball business and the business of basketball. You have to know to really truly understand a lot of the things you see in the basketball and the NBA world for sure is knowing the difference between those two. Basketball business is the contracts, the games being played, things that have to be done. But the business of basketball, it's a whole nother spectrum and things that go on. And like we're saying, like once you get past your first deal, now you out to get as much as you can, unless you're one of those players that you're chasing a ring. So in Porzingis' case, he got past the first deal. Does he want a ring or does he want the money? And that's where things are going to fall into play for him. So we have to understand that aspect of it for Porzingis. But if he does come back, like you said, Cliff, Dallas would be another playoff spot. The team that'll be interesting to watch will be New Orleans and Minnesota. And reason being, think both, because again, we want everybody to be healthy coming into camp. We don't want to hear the excuses. So now we're talking first-year coach and Willie Green. How does he make Zion and Ingram work to their highest abilities? Because I think we both said it, that the Clippers kind of left a door open, and to a certain degree, Golden State, there's a crack there to potentially make a run for a team that wasn't a playoff team. So I think with Minnesota, you got Cat, you got Russell, you got Anthony Edwards, you got some good young pieces and good guys. Is your coaching ready to get these guys over the hump? So I think that's going to be super important with those two young franchises out west. And I forgot, and that like Portland is still kind of, we don't know what they're doing with this Dame Lillard situation. So I think the West is going to be fun top to bottom. I do. I think the only bad team potentially. I didn't even mention my Spurs, and you know how big of an advocate I'm there with those guys. But between the Spurs, the Rockets, Memphis, but shit, I'm tripping. Memphis was a playoff team, so no disrespect to Memphis. Like I forgot about those guys. So shit, I mean, if there are teams outside looking in that playoff shot, it is the Rockets, New Orleans, Minnesota, in San Antonio. But I think those guys, if they get it right, can make the proper push forward. But the West from top to bottom, I mean, that's 15 teams. Like the West may be
deep as hell, man.
Dope. Yeah, that'd be dope if the whole West is like that competitive.
Yeah,
like being that competitive is great. Whereas the East,
it's gonna be dope, but it's gonna suck for a lot of people, man, because the West is probably about 12 deep. 12 deep, maybe 13.
I really wish with all this, the flip flopping they're doing, and I remember it came up at one time, but they never really pressed it. I really wish though they did just the top 16 teams though.
Yeah.
Because it makes the whole league competitive. Because some people back east realize, oh man, we got an East Coast stretch, we could chill, we good, because we in the East. Whereas the West, they got dog fights night in, night out. Yeah. Certain positions you not getting a rest because night in, night out, it's a dog fight. But yeah, man, we got Cleveland, then we got Orlando, then we shoot up to New York. Like what? Like you get to do all that? Like, whereas every night out west, you got to go to bed and get your proper rest and your proper food because it's going to be a fight. Which you love that competitive aspect to it, but the league, and I'm gonna talk to a couple people that I could probably talk to, probably try to bring that back to light because it's like I think that would be dope. I think to shake it back out, we got 16. Let's reseed this shit and make this shit. Because I think as basketball fans, all of us, we don't care. Like that year that the Lakers should have potentially been playing the Kings in the finals. That would have made a hell of a final. We don't care that one representative is from the East and one is from the West. We can care less about that. We don't care about
best two teams, bro.
We want the best two teams. Exactly.
That's just what it is. Yeah, no, I think you couldn't state it any better. Punisher Waller says, guys, don't forget new rules. James Harden will be dabbled with five. Well, I will say watching him, he's kind of went away from that a little bit, but I to your point, when he was with the Rockets, oh my God, man, Dane know this. I hated that with a passion. Like to me, that's not bad.
We all did. I give the referees credit though to my man who asked that question. The referees, Punisher, they're calling it now in Summer League. So some of these young guys, if you go back, like Cole Anthony a couple times yesterday, try to do that whole draw the foul. They didn't call it.
Yeah, they
didn't call it. So I'm glad more the younger guys were doing the flopping and the foolishness. If you ask me, even though James was nobody. See, James had a couple like rules though that it wasn't flopping. He just had it in his arsenal. Like anybody that knows, James had an ability that when he drove left, he stuck the ball out. Mm-hmm. And when I tell you he had such a grip on the ball, I'm talking Artis Gilmore levels. So anybody know how strong Artis Gilmore hands were? But James had a way where he would put the ball out and it baited you that you either tried to go for it, he would swing it into your body. That way you did foul him. But those other, like they said, those and it was a traditional move in James doing it. But those other moves of what they call it, unnatural shots and all that. Yeah, I'm with that. I respect that. I really, really do. I respect them, not calling that bullshit no more.
You know me, man. I'm very critical of James Harden. He happened to be playing with my favorite player, which is Kevin Durant right now. So I'm naturally going to ease off him a little bit. But so I did notice though he stopped that cheap shit, and I hate it. I do not. I'm not an advocate of manipulating the rules to gain what you are, and then start comparing him to like the likes of Kobe Bryant, who, if y'all been following the channel long enough, y'all know it's my favorite player of all time. So no, I'm not going. I'm sorry, I'm not going.
He said, "I'm not going."
I'm not going, dog. And yeah, y'all know I am, man. I'm very heels in the ground, man. When I'm on my stance, man, and I'm sorry.
Why you hit him with the Trey and Boys in the Hood, man? Trey, don't let me out.
You see my shirt I got on? I got my Trey shirt on, right?
No, let me out.
Y'all know.
No, that's real. That's real and that's genuine to understand and know. And more people they need to see that like I mean some of the stuff it was just getting out of hand. It was and the league had to step in and do something. And I'm glad they did. And I think it's like we just lined it up, bro. I think it's gonna make for better basketball. League pass. I'm telling you people, if you haven't been a league pass person, man, get it. It's worth it. While you think a lot of stuff comes on, and I think that's another thing too when it comes to the fandom of the space. Don't get it twisted. Enough games come on. So you got TNT Thursday. You got games on Friday. We kind of give the weekend of football early on. Monday night, NBA TV gives us something. Tuesday night, we get something. And then Wednesday, we get ESPN again. So it's like, you do get enough free basketball that as a casual fan, you could follow. But when you want to start getting down in the weeds, you really, really want to start getting down and watching how shit goes, like, man, invest in League Pass if you haven't. It is worth it. It sounds pricey, but most companies will give you a breakdown, and you can even get an extension of the breakdown payments. And it's worth it because, like you just said, instead of knowing Malcolm Brogdon just for the box score, it gives you time to watch guys in the league that you normally don't get in your market. It gives you time to appreciate a Ja Morant. It gives you time to appreciate a De'Aaron Fox. It gives you, for those that fell in love with Dame, that love came from watching those Portland games that weren't coming on TV on League Pass. So League Pass are going to give you the stars. It's going to give you the All-NBA guys for sure. If that's all you care about, cool. But when you really want to dig into those weeds and see that young Isaiah Stewart get a lot of burn for Detroit and play well and make all rookie, you're going to watch. You're definitely going to watch League Pass for that.
Absolutely, man. And so, yeah, man, I appreciate all that, man. And I think we hit all of the players that we need to hit right now as far as early prognostication. Dame, if you're up to it, I would like to do this again in 2 days.
Come on, man. I'm here. I will be still here. Yeah, I'll still be here. So we can sit down and do it. We could do one at the end. We can do one before training camp. We can do one. I mean, bro, you know, I'm here for the culture. I'm here however you need to use me. However, your man Ant Leon said invest in stick. That's a fact. However you want to do this, you know, it's
man. I might mess around and shoot to Vegas for a day, man. I'm off Thursday. I'm gonna try to figure this out logistically in my mind.
Man,
I'm gonna shoot out there today.
Let me know. Let me know. We can definitely. I ain't gotta be back no time soon. So if you want to do it, sit down, break bread, have dinner, whatever. Just let me know. Whatever work for you.
I might come out there Thursday. I'm gonna see how they look logistically. But yeah, worst case, I want to do another show because I think this is important that we had these conversations in open space. Because I get it, man. I'm a Jello-holic, man. I want Jello to do his thing. don't get it twisted.
Man, it said Jello-holic.
Hey, no, Jello-holic, Mellow-holic. That's a thing out here. Because I'm very happy for this young man because y'all don't understand. Like it's, you know, I talked to LeVar, as y'all know, 2 weeks ago, and nothing wrong with nepotism. Like, you know, their opportunity was presented because brother did his damn thing in Charlotte. I think we all understand that. Nothing wrong with that. Like, hell, we can go. Klay Thompson's brother got opportunity like that. Boogie Cousins' brother got opportunity. J.R. Smith brother got opportunity like that. Shit, Steph Curry brother got opportunity like that. Well, I mean, he's still hooping though. I mean, Seth has earned his keep. But my point I'm making is no problem with nepotism. And even from the source, LeVar said, of course, that's how you're supposed to do it. Like in the corporate entities, it happens all the time. You put your man on, you put your son on, you put your brother on. That's just how it goes. So I'm very happy that he get the opportunity and to just show what he can do. Because at the end of the day, it's on you. When you out there, it's on you. It ain't no more what ifs. It's you out there. I understand you say the point guard selfish. You can say all that shit. That's basketball. Like I play some
I will add to this, and I'm so not feeding to the Jello-holics or the Ballaholics that are on this feed. But I will say this. Hold on. Dallas hasn't offered KP an extension yet. Thibodeau said that Porzingis hasn't got offered yet. Man. I think to add to everyone's conspiracy theory they don't want LeVar to be right. I will say that. They don't want him to be right when he said all three of his sons would be in the NBA. I just leave that at that, not from just my own personal feeling, because for those that are the story writers, we all know, the pen is mightier than the sword. They don't want that, because then that means that man spoke that into existence, and he was right. And they don't want a brother that was brash and loud, and they don't want that. They don't. But I think this might be an energy that they cannot ignore. They're chanting Jello's name, when he's not in the game. He's having an effect on the game. And I think that shit is just so, you got to respect that. My space to everyone on the feed is just to evaluate. Cliff would tell you my feelings have nothing to do with it at all. I don't lose money if I get it right. I don't make money if I get it right. It's just that truth to the fact of the matter. So, but I think to a certain degree, they do not want that man to be right. So if he's left out of the space, if he doesn't make it, it's because we all know I'm not a secret society. Do they exist? Yes, but I'm just not this whole trilateral committee guy that, but of course they're higher ups, they're meetings that I don't have access to. And yeah, I think that's come up. I would be lying if I said I didn't feel that way. But I hope the best for him, because again, if he can make shots, I don't care what his name is. His name could be Cliff Ervin. It could be Dane Franks. If he can make shots at a high clip, it doesn't matter. That's what's needed. So, much success to him. Hope everyone stays healthy so that they can leave it all on the floor, and then it's just left up to the decision makers.
There you go. Do the work, and it'll show for itself. If the guards are being selfish, and I want y'all to understand this too, y'all follow the stream. When they watch film, they'll see that. When they go watch film, they trust me.
But let's be clear too, and you know this. They're not. They've invested, because to someone who said he's a rookie, James Bouknight is a rookie too.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna give James Bouknight more opportunities to be successful because they drafted him in the top 10.
Absolutely.
So let's understand this too, people. Regardless, again, take your feelings out of it and look at it again from the business of basketball side. This guy was a top 10 pick. This guy's trying to make the team, and his brother was rookie of the year. They're going to go with the guy that they invested in. You invested in the top 10 pick. Because guess what? Management has to get that right so that they keep their job.
They can justify their jobs. Thank you.
Because wait a minute, we took Bouknight in the 10, but then this dude brother is better than him. Oh shit, we don't know. It sounds great for the ballaholics, but to the person in management, MJ gonna be like,
yo,
well, shit, man, I don't need y'all.
Why am I paying you?
Why am I paying you all this money? Mitch Kupchak, man, get your ass out of here. I'm not dealing with you. And that's how it works. So everyone has to keep that in mind.
Yep, and that's real talk, because I try to explain to people all the time, man. A lot of moves you see is people trying to justify their jobs. I'm in sales. You see a lot of initiatives get passed down. You know it's bullshit, but the marketing department got to prove that they worth their weight in gold. And there's sometimes the logistics department. They come with these new stringent things that we got to do to follow things, because why? They got to prove their weight in gold, and this is no different. When you draft a guy high, you got to prove he was worth that draft, because if not, you look around, let's say Jello comes in, which is a favor, and kills it. Well, what the fuck I need y'all for to be drafting for, if our solution was a guy we just, pretty much a glorified walk-on? Why I need y'all? So y'all got to understand, man, it's game within the game. It's politics to the nth level, and it's unfair. It sucks, but it's true.
Facts. Big facts.
So you want to address this real quick before we peace out, man? What do you think about Brandon Ingram taking the backseat for Zion? That's actually a really good question. What do you think about that?
I don't think he's going to take a backseat. I think personally, Willie Green is going to understand that, Zion, I need you to get in the best shape possible. I need you to step away from the table in a certain capacity. I mean, because we say it all the time that, in New Orleans, butter is a vegetable. Well, that's one vegetable we don't need to eat. We need you to curtail, we need you to I say this with all great players, and you know this to be true too. All the great ones that we've witnessed from the late 80s to the 90s to now, when you see a different looking them physically, they're taking, first of all, they've made a commitment to greatness. I mentioned Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard, when he realized after his first 2 years, I got to get stronger, he visibly came back stronger, and people can say what they want. He led them to the finals. So I think with Zion, looking at much of his film when he was younger, Playboy, we got to get you back down. And I'm hoping that you and I peep game, Zion hasn't been in the media. We ain't seen no pictures. So I'm really hoping at the start of this season, what I'm speaking on, he's actually doing and getting in the best shape possible. But all this taking out of Zion's hands, I mean, when the ball was in Ingram's hand, he was an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what are we talking about? Like, that's what he is. And again, with him at Duke in high school, he's not a playmaker, no, but he's kind of like what Melo was in Denver. Like, get him the ball in certain areas to make shots, create shots, cool. But neither one of those guys are guys. Like, I really thought Stan Van Gundy did those guys a disservice. I don't think he maximized.
A lot of people agree with you, bro.
I don't think he maximized Lonzo Ingram, because in my mind, if you saw what Ball did at UCLA, to just give it to him.
Damn, you freezing on us again. You was cooking too. They got you stuck in the right here.
Like, you gotta get yourself in some type of shape to play like that, though. But I think now, to Stan's credit, I think he probably realized I can't play like that. Mm-hmm. So he wasn't all at fault, but a lot of it was his fault. And I think I don't know. I think they missed the opportunity with those three, because I think those numbers could have been crazier from an assist standpoint, because he could have easily got 7 to 8 assists to fucking Zion alone, just rim running and just catching the lob. And then you talking about on kickouts to Ingram, you easily probably could have got 3 to 5 of those. So that's you had 10 assists with 2 guys. And the fact that he didn't do that, that was a waste.
I don't know, man. I don't know what better scenario you wanted for that, to have an unselfish point guard like Lonzo, who has zero ego. I met Lonzo a week ago. He is who he looks like on TV, man. He is very chill. His temperament is calm, and I'm sure he's like that in most cases. And you don't get a lot of point guards who are like that. You don't get a lot of guys who have high level potential who are like that. And the fact that they just let that walk away, hey, like the young kids say, sheesh. that's your bad, man. That's your bad. So, I hope that.
I didn't hear that again.
No, I was saying that
I lost you there.
The fact you let a guy who was can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, so I was saying the fact that you let a guy like that who is so unselfish walk away, and you just, think you're gonna replace that with that type of talent you have, which is best a guy who distributes first, you're gonna find out that the grass probably ain't greener. And that's just real tough, man. And so I hope the Pelicans' success. I don't see that working out, in my opinion, but we shall see. I think that is freezing up again, but we're gonna go ahead and end here. We're on the 2-hour mark, man. Y'all hit the like on the way out. And this is, man, I try to give y'all this quality content that y'all can take and learn from basketball, because one of my biggest things is I've been most of my life as a coach. I've been a basketball coach, and I want y'all to learn this game. And I don't mind y'all getting y'all rocks off of what you're excited about. I don't mind that. But in that same space, I want y'all to learn this game, because when you start arguing with other people, you'll know what you're talking about at a higher clip. And I say you don't know what you're talking about already. I'm not trying to talk down nobody on the stream. But a guy like Dame, me and him, and if y'all don't know the backstory, we argue a lot. But Dame is a dude No lie. When I go to like an AAU game or I go to a high-level high school game, all the coaches from like high-level schools, they'll see me and Dain sitting next to each other, and they'll come sitting next to Dain. And then that's how I get to know these people. Because because Dain respect my basketball acumen, and you know what I'm saying, and they wanted to cheat off of his notes because his talent evaluation is what they go off of. That they pay for his services, in short. And we talking about schools like Texas A&M, University of Texas, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. I've seen personally. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a cat from what school is that? Purdue. You know what I'm saying? Looking at Dain's notes or sitting, trying to canoodle, as it were, to what Dain is speaking about. So that's why I have him on my show a lot, because just give y'all some insight. So he's in Vegas, if y'all didn't, surmise from that. So he's right there watching all these games. And he did give me a lot of kudos, for Jello, that first game in particular. So, a lot of people are noticing what Jello's doing. So I know a lot of us are here for the reason supporting the family. And I do want to just give you logical perspective as we go forward. So, man, if you have not liked the channel, and I know I got to get better at doing that, doing the shit, but when we riffing, I don't want to disrupt the flow by doing the YouTube stuff, and I hope y'all appreciate that. I think y'all did on the stream. So, man, y'all keep checking the content, man. Thank y'all so much for supporting me. It's good for the community to keep it coming. I appreciate that 47, man, because my thing is, man, eventually I'll do crazy numbers, but I want to be true to my brand. I want to be true to my perspective the whole way through. And if y'all see me going sideways, please call me out, because this is how I always am. We're presenting it, and I hope y'all appreciate it. And if y'all want to drop some of that Cash App, you can. Man, I'm a capitalist. I make great money doing what I do for a living. But this is 2 hours out of my day, man. If you want to drop $5, $10, $1, I'll shout y'all out on the next video. I promise you I will. Is money sign C Franks 11. Whatever y'all want to support the channel, I ain't tripping. So I'm gonna let Kendrick Perkins take us out, and thank y'all so much for tuning in. Real talk.
Shout out to Hoop Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon.
Shout out to Hoop Jargon.